Hello, my name is Carlos Garza, and I'm a researcher in bioinformatics, computational biology, um, necrobiology, necrochemistry, um, AI and machine learning, precision medicine. Um, but my main focus is cellular regeneration and preservation. Um, I am 25 years old. Um, Around April 2022, I was diagnosed with an incurable disease called retinitis pigmentosa. It was quite the daunting thing to learn, honestly. Um, you live your whole life one entire way, and then suddenly something comes into the picture that changes everything. And not only in my subjective reality, but in my objective reality as well, which is I was losing one of my senses. And I was very bitter. I was very, very bitter. I was very hurt. I hurt a lot of people. I hurt myself. I was just the worst for wear. But one thing that always, in my life, sometimes things will knock me down, but I'll tell myself that I'll get back up. That I can be better. That this isn't the end. And I didn't want to be blind. I just did not want to be blind. Not that there's anything wrong with being blind. It's a hard thing. It's an umbrella term for a lot of different diseases that ravage lives, that change lives, that, they belong to degenerative diseases. Um, but I myself, I just didn't want to be blind because I appreciate the beauty of my subjective viewed reality. I think it's quite important that I live my life as best as I can with what I have. But I've led my life to a point where a vital, essential function of my body was degenerating. It was falling apart. That specific thing is my photoreceptors, my mirror to reality. It's how I see. It's how everyone sees, besides the optic nerve and the visual cortex. The retina is so important. It's, to me personally, it's the epitome of eye health. It's a very interesting thing to think about because the truth is there's so many different variables that change this. There's so many different variables that affect just it's just this degeneration. It's not just one thing. And it's easy to think that it's just one thing because it's my genome. It's my genetics. I inherited an autosomal recessive gene from someone in my family. It's not the most rare thing ever, but it's certainly not the smallest hiccup. And chromosome 1, the mutation, the gene that's mutated in my body is ABCA4. ABCA4 modulates many different things to the body. There's so many different proteins that are built from this genetic code. That genetic word, so to speak. And a lot of it has to do with vitamin A, the recycling of vitamin A in your eye. So vitamin A is an essential compound for the human body, right? It's a vitamin. It's actually it's vitamin A. Think of that, the first letter in the alphabet. It's so important to so many different things. I dare you to look up vitamin A toxicity. It's a very horrible thing. Very horrible thing. Your retina recycles itself. Things are always changing in your retina. Things are always changing. And one thing that changes is the management of this vitamin A in your eye. If it's cycled out correctly, if it builds up. And that's the problem with my eyes. Imagine this. I eat a whole bunch of sweet potatoes. A whole bunch of sweet potatoes. Think about your daily value in a cup of sweet potatoes. Or of a cup A sweet potatoes. It's crazy. I don't know the number, but I think it may be 3 digits. And so, with my genetic mutation where my vitamin A isn't being cycled correctly and it builds up, it's just kind of making my eye a landfill. It's just making junk. It's just making a mess. The gene is supposed to cycle the vitamin A, but it's not doing that. So it's just doing its own fucking thing, you know? It's just staying there and dying off, and you know, and that's not the end though. Truly. One moment. So vitamin A, right? Tell me this, when you go outside, sun hits your skin, you get vitamin D. You eat bananas, you get potassium, right? Well, you eat a damn tomato, you get carotenoids, and you get vitamin A. Well, those are all very essential. Well, at least the carotenoids and vitamin A are very, very essential to the eye. It's like omega-3 that's essential to the eye. And I just can't have too much of the vitamin A. It's toxic. I have here a paper about the pigmentation of ABCA4 mutations in knockout mice. So knockout mice is when you when you mess with a mouse's genetic code. So you mess with the mouse's genetic code and you give them a specific disease to see how it progresses. You kind of research the effects that it has on that specific, test subject. And they found that when they gave vitamin A to the mice with the gene mutation that I have, or at least a sister version of it with retinal dystrophy, retinal dystrophies, where it's just like, the retinal and just problems with it. It was doing more harm than good. And it's counterintuitive because you think, I should eat more vitamin A to make my eyes better. But it doesn't work like that for some people. Legitimately, what's happening is that you're introducing all these new compounds into your body. Well, not new compounds, but you're taking a whole shitload of vitamin A. You're giving it a whole bunch of it to your body because you think it's going to do magic, and it's not. And it's going to hurt you because, because it's something that I could have done. I was very proactive about my eye health as soon as I found out that I was blind. Yes, I still do things that are not good for my eye, like smoke and stuff like that. But I've come to find that precision medicine, like doing very specific things, taking supplements like, here we go, NACA. NACA here is a compound. It's like, just think of it like, I don't know, like an antioxidant that's like in blueberries. It's like a compound. It's like chemistry that, it's just chemistry with just research behind it. And this compound, when you give it to the body, it's helping the eye. It's helping slow things down that are going bad in the eye, because retinitis pigmentosa is a degenerative disease. A degenerative disease means that it gets worse and worse as time goes on, right? So if it gets worse and worse as time goes on, it's hard to monitor it, man. It's really hard to monitor, especially when you're a person like me, when you're a human, with my subjective view of reality, my objective view too, like, people are blind everywhere. Animals are blind everywhere. Some animals don't even have eyes. And that's just a functional sense of a bioorganic form. And rather than me lose it all at once and have to adapt to this new reality of just brain port, which is like, losing your vision completely, like loss of complete visual function. Like when you imagine like black, like just pitch black. But pitch black is not what blind people see because they don't have perception of color. It's just the absence of vision. But, yeah, no, I still have my vision, dude. I'm losing as time goes on. It's a progressive disease. So, it's been happening for a long time. When I was 22 is when it was severe. That's when the disease decided, I'm gonna take a fucking turn going at this shit, Um, it's very interesting. I'm gonna be honest too. I truly believe, as a scientist, as an undergraduate that is doing as much research as possible into the field of genetics, biochemistry, biology, I truly believe that I have had this genetic deficiency forever, and that it expressed itself after I was infected with COVID-19. COVID-19 was not a hoax. It was a very real infectious disease. It was a pandemic in the making. I recognized it as soon as the case numbers started dropping. And I tried to be proactive about my health, and I was. But sometimes things just happen and you get infected with an infectious disease and you really can't do anything about it. But I do believe that the acceleration of my mutations degeneration was caused by the changes induced in my body by COVID-19. Because when I was 17, there was an opportunity for me to learn earlier than 2023, I believe, that I had retinitis pigmentosa. Because I went to an eye doctor and they did retinal imaging of my eye, and they found that there was black, kind of black blood vessel looking, there's black clumps of pigment in my eye. It kind of looked like a tree, right? And she was it was a female doctor. It was at a she was an ophthalmologist, at a eyeglass place on Flamingo and Durango, I believe. Um, and she had told me, she's like, you know what, I am very interested in this. Like, I think that this could be something possibly called retinitis, or possibly be something called retinitis pigmentosa. But I don't want to give you an exact diagnosis. I want to send you to a retinal specialist. And you know what, man, I was a kid and I don't regret it. I don't regret it. I was just a fucking kid. And the truth is I didn't give a fuck. I really didn't care. I was like, whatever, man. Like, it's probably something like this or that. I looked it up and it said that it was tunnel vision. That's all I knew about retinitis pigmentosa, is that people said that it's gradual tunnel vision as you get older, or as the disease progresses. And yeah, I just wasn't proactive about it. And so I went on for another 6 years ignorant. You know, ignorance is bliss, not knowing. But at 21, I was infected. 21, I was infected with COVID-19. Pandemic was a really big deal, and I may not have noticed um, biological changes in my eye. Um, uh, changes in my perception. In my field of vision. But it's just something that I noticed that I attributed to something else, which is very funny. Um, I want to preface learning about my diagnosis by reiterating again that I haven't always made the best decisions. And during the year I found out 2022, I would stay up all night playing Minecraft. I would stay up playing Minecraft with one of my best friends, and we would pull like 10 hours trying to mine nether quartz. We would tell each other, "Hey man, like, you ready to clock into work?" You know? And it was really funny. Um but yeah, I was sitting on my computer in a dark room, mind you. It's been found that when you're watching TV, watching movies, you're on your computer, you should always have a stable light source. Just because it puts less stress on the eye, right? Causes oxidative stress. I'll explain oxidative stress later. Um, just makes your eye work hard, and it should, man. And so imagine me sitting on my computer, dark room, playing for like 10 hours a day, 12 hours a day. I was vaping so much and smoking cigarettes. I like to tell myself that I don't have a severe nicotine addiction. Truly, I could kick it if I want. Hell, I could say it right now that I would, but it's something, sometimes I feel a little bit of stress and it makes you feel better. Anyways, um, yeah, so I was doing all these negative things, and let's be honest, my genetic code was already affected. I'm inhaling God knows what from the vapes. I'm inducing oxidative stress in my eyes. It was just a recipe for disaster. Smoking also induces oxidative stress. You're being given these compounds that are fucking your eye up. But yeah, man, it was just all bad. It was just all bad. I don't know what the hell I was thinking. I mean, I was having fun though. But yeah, one day we're playing and I just was looking at my screen and I was like, my glasses are so dirty right now. And it's my right eye here. Um, I thought my glasses were dirty because I was playing the game and I'd be like, man, like my vision sucks. Like this sucks so bad. Like, dude, like what the fuck, you know? Um, so I went to go get my vision checked and I got my vision checked. I'm going to preface this by saying that sometimes when an opportunity presents itself to me, that no harm to the world, no harm to myself, it's beneficial. I just sometimes say like, fuck it, why not? And sorry, I lost my train of thought for a second. Oh shit. um, Sometimes when an opportunity presents itself, I just do it. And I'll give you an example. I went to Walgreens and they asked me if I had gotten my HPV vaccine yet. And I was like, no, I haven't. And they're like, would you like to do that today? I'm like, okay, sure, why not? And I just got it. That's it. Literally nothing else. So attribute that to this in 2022 when I was at the eye doctor. They asked me, like, we have this new special retinal imaging, like where we could take digital pictures of your eyes and view your eye health in the back of your eye and see if things were okay. And it was $35. That's very cheap. I think so myself. Out of pocket. I was like, hell yeah, dude. Yeah, fuck yeah, why not? And yeah, they showed me the pictures and she didn't want to give me a definite diagnosis. So she sent me to a retinal specialist named Dr. Hollyfield who wanted to do extensive testing to make sure that it wasn't something else like AMD or Stargard's or RPE um, or diabetic uh, retinopathy. And then I did get referred to another eye doctor, which is Center for Sight. It was a very young Asian gentleman, and he told me very bluntly that I had retinitis pigmentosa, and it was incurable and stuff like that. And to some degree, I just kind of felt like in that moment I had thought like, man, like why me? Like why the fuck is it me? Like you've got to be shitting me, dude. I was like, this sucks so fucking bad. And truth be told, I had the opportunity to do something about this when I was 17. And I didn't. And I lost a lot of time, man. But you know what? Like, I'm glad I lived the life that I did at that time, and I wouldn't change anything about the way that I'm living right now. Yeah, I've made mistakes, but I found my calling, man. I found my calling. I found my fucking calling. Isn't that crazy? I I have so many just different things that I just am so excited about that are revolutionary. Artificial intelligence. I have papers in here for so many different subjects. Scientific method, this is for the planning of my hypothesis. Biochemistry, nothing in here yet. Precision medicine, got a couple journals here. More than a couple. Blinding eye disease strongly associated with serious forms of cardiovascular disease. Let me explain how that's precision medicine. That's precision medicine because if this study showed that if you're fucking with your heart, your eyes are getting fucked too. The organism is one overarching structure of so many different proteins just doing the most insane fucking thing ever. So your cardiovascular system, like heart failure, high cholesterol, stuff like that, that stuff affects your eyes too. That's a taste of that. Here's a favorite of mine. I've read this term in a very specific paper that I love very much if I knew where it was. Talking about necrobiology, which is cell death, or just the death of, the organism. The protein, one could say. And that's where the future is in regenerative medicine. That and necrochemistry. Necrochemistry. Here's a paper I like very much here. Postmortem Chemistry Update Part 1. Postmortem chemistry is becoming increasingly essential in the forensic pathology routine, and considerable progress has been made over the past years. Biochemical analysis of vitreous humor, cerebrospinal fluid, blood, and urine may provide significant information in determining the cause of death or in elucidating forensic cases. So it's the investigation of dead tissue. Or not dead tissue, that's necrobiology, sorry. Chemical changes that occur in the body during death. Sorry, kind of got mixed up there. That is also where the secret is to regenerative medicine. And I'll explain that. Here is bioinformatics. We're going to talk about that. Computational biology. We're going to talk about that as well. And probably my favorite as of this moment, cellular preservation. I got a lot of papers in here. This could be considered cellular degeneration or biological degeneration, but this is in my cellular preservation folder, so I'm going to explain how this relates to cellular preservation. This talks correlation between the serum concentration of vitamin A and disease severity in patients carrying PG90D and RHO, the most frequent gene associated with dominant retinitis pigmentosa. Implications for therapy with vitamin A. So let me explain this, okay? Retinitis pigmentosa, I explained to you that I have a recessive gene, an autosomal recessive gene. So this gene, it doesn't get copied very often, honest to God. It doesn't. But dominant genes, like black hair or brown eyes, those those genetic codes like to be written. It's easy for that information to be transcribed and replicated. So a lot of people have this shit. And they found in one specific gene, not in my gene, not ABCA4. Remember, ABCA4 is very heavily impacted by vitamin A. This is another genetic mutation that's being impacted by supplementation with vitamin A. Do you understand why that's a bad thing? Because a lot of people with retinitis pigmentosa will tell you that one of the best ways that you can preserve your cells is take vitamin A. And this study is saying, or this article is saying that shit is hurting someone. Shit is the supplementation with vitamin A, which was thought to be a widespread thing, is actually inducing negative changes in somebody's biology and just their biochemistry. And it sucks, man. Because think about how many people are probably taking vitamin A as of this moment, thinking that it's going to help them. And they don't know. That's why you have to be proactive about research. That's why you have to look. That's why you have to look before you try and do something. So just the act of being proactive, not doing something unless you see how it correlates to you and the improvement of your health. Like, you should be proactive about it, man. Because it could have negative effects. And I feel bad for these people. Here's biochemical and immunological implications of lutein and zeaxanthin. I never know if I pronounce that right. Zeaxanthin. Zeaxanthin. Lutein and zeaxanthin are considered extremely important compounds in the eye. Extremely important chemicals. Extremely. These vitamins, man, like molecular biology and stuff like that, molecular chemistry, like these things are being impacted, man, by taking just a little vitamin. And if you look up, say you have, we're going to make up a random gene right now. Say if you had, let me use my last name. Say you had genetic mutation GRZ 19 in chromosome 2. And you have a genetic mutation that expresses itself in your body. And the expression of this mutation causes gluten to be very dangerous to your body. Why would you take gluten without research about it? You know, you could do it on a whim. I mean, hell, maybe I started doing that. I think the first time I ever took it was. But I immediately realized I was like, I need to know if this is going to hurt me in some type of way. And it turns out that there's been a lot of research done that says that gluten helps with retinitis pigmentosa. And I believe, don't hold me to the stone on this, but I'm 96% positive that I read an article that talks about how gluten doesn't help with the recycling of vitamin A and the buildup of it and just like that whole process, but it's a carotenoid. So it's an important eye vitamin. And yeah, I saw a study about it. So I was like, okay, so yeah, it passed the check. Like, I'm going to take this. There's no water in here. But yeah, man, like just think about that for a second. Sorry, get some cranberry juice. I'll show you a couple of my different things that I'm taking. So I indexed several databases to learn about these, which is lycopene. This supports your prostate and heart health. Remember earlier when I was talking about cardiovascular disease and how it has effects on retinitis pigmentosa, or they have implications for each other? So you should take this shit if you have heart problems, if you have problems with your prostate as well. If you're a man, maybe prostate cancer is something that you're worried about. Just look it up, dude. Look up if it really helps, and it does help because this has been medically researched and it's been backed by studies. Here we go. The big boy. Look at this shit. Visigold, lutein. Lutein is from marigold petal extract. More biology. That's environmental biology, I believe. Or somebody who's gonna have to correct. I have a friend who's really good at that stuff. I mean, plants are organic forms. So, yeah, biochemistry, super good. Here we have another one. Omega algae oil. This is a dietary supplement with DHA. Supports heart health, eye health, and brain health. When you take omega-3, people tell you to eat fish for omega-3, right? Guess what? A lot of fish are very high in vitamin A. So why the fuck would I want to be? I mean, compounds could not be related, but I want to see if there's more research done in it. About omega-3 fish oil having implications with vitamin A, like recycling production, the whole bullshit nonsense, like engineered like workshop of that. And another here is saffron extract. This is really good. This boosts your mood, energy, and eye health. And I take one of these every day, or two, depending on the dosage. Always read the back of label. This also is something, I don't know how the fuck to pronounce this. COQ10, it says. I did research on this as well, and this has implications with eye health. 3 times better absorption. Water and fat soluble. You gotta have your fats. Cardiologists recommend it. Remember when I was talking about cardiovascular health? Come on, dude. And I looked up at the studies, and this is definitely good for me. Let me tell you about another disease called Stargardt's. So, you know what? Do I have a board somewhere that I can write on? I do, actually. Um, so, how should I explain this? That's not accurate. But imagine that looks wrong. Imagine this is your field of vision, right? Yeah. This is your field of vision. I gave him a smiley face. This is your field of vision right here. Obviously, I don't have it perfect in degrees, but your eye, your retina is what's, you're absorbing light, right? Say you have a field of, say you have a field of view like that, right? Those are specific degrees of which you have peripheral and central vision. I'm gonna use a box. Why not? Imagine this box being your central vision, right? Oh, I like that. So, okay, say that's your eye, right? This is your central vision right here. That's your central vision labeled, and the arrows are supposed to indicate peripheral vision. So it was like stuff that you see to your sides. Like when I'm looking forward and I see my hand right here, I'm holding up 2 fingers. Obviously, I know that because I'm the one doing it, but I can physically see in my field of view that I have 2 fingers up. Oh, sorry. Let me show you. Or, like if I'm looking this way and I can see this wiggling in the bottom right corner of my eye. I'm going to show you my field of vision. That's weird. I know. But this comprehensive, like my total, like, ideally it would be 2 eyes right here. Um, that's my field of view. I'm gonna explain how the fuck this weird ass drawing that doesn't make sense is possible. Because of photoreceptors death. Photoreceptor cell death. So this graph doesn't make any sense. This drawing, this model. But let me think of how I can correlate this. Sorry. You know what? Instead of beating around the bush, I'm gonna show you a fucking retina. Anticipation. Okay. So retina, this is my back of my eye. Imagine my singular vision in my right eye. This is what this shit is blocking. See, I'm looking at a house. This is what I'm seeing. You see the background? You see how this shit is black? Okay, well, it's not black, buddy. It's just gone. It's just gone. That's peripheral vision loss. But you see me circling this? Oh, yeah, I'm locked in now. You see this house? How I'm seeing that right dab smack in the middle of my eye? That's your central vision right there. Okay? Now, say, let me do that same drawing down here. Yeah, it's going to have some variation. This is my left eye. That might look daunting, but what I want to express is that this isn't something to do with my eye. That's just a tree. That's what I'm seeing. I'm seeing trees. I'm seeing a little paved path that's also up here. I'm seeing the same house. I'm just seeing more of the background, my perspective, my field of view, right? Well, there's a very interesting disease called Stargard's. And that it's not the only one, of course. But everyone who has Stargard's, at least that's currently in research, I believe, has ABCA4 mutation in ABCA4. I'm gonna show you something really sad. So the circle. You know how I told you I lose peripheral vision? My central vision. Your central vision when you have cone rod dystrophy or stuff that causes your photoreceptors to die is usually the last thing to go. It's not the first. That's where this changes things. This right here, my friends, is my kind of visual diagram of Stargard's, which is your central vision is what starts where the degradation is at. Because your eye, when I show you those black like scribbles on my on this, what I actually should be showing you is little dots. They're cells. They're just cells that just make up your eye. It's just the entire retina is made of cells, basically. So yeah, so my cells on the corner. Look, let me go again. Let me show you this. Sorry. Who let him cook at us? See this? This and that are the same thing. This, my dudes, is the photoreceptors in your eye. You see these black clumps? That's vitamin A fucked up in my eyes. And it's other people, it's other things like just regular cell death. But these are dead cells, just like imagine it under a microscope, like a little petri dish. Dude, these are just dead cells that are just clumped together. It's just like imagine it's just crowded dead people, man. It's that sad. And so imagine instead of the center of the crowd being alive and well and the sides being like dead, imagine this, which is the central vision is what's dead. And the peripheral vision is what stays. Isn't that very interesting? And I'm going to cure Stargards. I'm going to cure Stargards. Because I'm going to cure my own disease. And I'm going to fucking cure a lot of other people's disease. I fucking have to. My friends, there is life after death. Scientists revive human retinas after death. It's biochemistry. It's necrochemistry to some degree right now. It's something that was dead being brought back to life. And cytometry is letting us see what's happening, which is basically like monitoring, the vital signs of cells. And we're going to affect that. We're going to affect the eye's biochemical structure by just throwing as much as we can at it. And that, my friends, I'm going to explain to you in my next lecture. And it might seem far-fetched and you might be telling me, yeah, dude, go fuck yourself. But, nah, dude. Thank you for listening. And I'll have something more constructive to say next time. Thank you.